welcome to Turn to Your Doom, a choose-your-own-adventure podcast where one of us reads a choose-your-own-adventure book and the other one guides the adventure. We are going to be reading Murder at the Old Willow Boarding School, and with me is somebody that needs to solve their own murder. Art.
Hi. It's, okay. By the way, we're gonna have to go play through, Class of '09, because I want to experience that game, together. But, yeah, it turns out there was just a note on the refrigerator door, and it just said, "Hey, I'm out. It's all your fault." Signed, you. And I was just like, shit. Was it really? Yeah.
You did what you're planning to do anyways when you die. You left a series of elaborate clues and mysterious objects and recordings and other media to throw us all off of how you actually died.
Yeah, I'm gonna have you plot out a bunch of like random coordinates across the entire globe, and when you connect all of them together, it's just gonna be a penis.
I love it. I love it.
Well.
That's so good. But yeah, we're going to be reading Murder at the Old Willow Boarding School. This is a newer one. This was actually published just in 2023. Jessika Fleck is the author for this book. And it's a hefty one. I think it has like 27 endings.
Did you say the year, by the way?
2023, yeah.
Yeah, so this is one of the newer ones. Like, I've just been reading stuff from like the early 80s.
I know.
So.
Yeah, so the prologue part of this book actually has a list of, like, it has all the characters and, like, portraits of them. And we do have a they-them among our cast.
I mean, you've always had a they-them among your cast, but now it's in the book as well.
Yeah. But yeah, so from what I've gathered, we are solving our own murder. Our murder is the murder at the Old Willow Boarding School. We are a student here. So all the students here have, like, some supernatural ability, but they can be cool, like, apparently we know telekinesis, but, like, there's somebody that knows how to communicate with inanimate objects. And that's their power.
So it turns out that there's a student there that's called, like, Charles Bundy. I don't know. I can't think of people who killed each other. And his power is to just murder people and get away with it. And that's it.
There is somebody who's an expert knife thrower and archer.
Oh.
So, there's that. Also, the person that can talk to inanimate objects is our mortal enemy, apparently.
Oh. Should we go through the cast so we know them a little bit before we go?
So, we'll start with ourselves. So, our name is Pearl. She, her pronouns. We know how to do telekinesis. That's our gift. There's Lucy, she, her, who can do magnetism. Elwyn, he, him, who can time travel. Jack, he, him, who can speak in foreign languages, picks locks, convinces others to do his bidding, predicts weather, contorts his body into small spaces. Sailor, so she, her, can control insects. Sawyer is the expert knife thrower and archer, he, him. We're moving into some of the staff now. Mr. Fitzherbert, he, him, is the headmistress's assistant. There's the headmistress. She doesn't have, like, a first or last name. She's just the headmistress, which could be her first and last name, now that I think about it.
Yeah.
Mrs. Loveland, she, her, the English teacher. Sal, they, them. They can climb and balance at exceptional heights. And then finally, Constance, she, her, can communicate with inanimate objects. She's also our arch enemy. And Elwyn, the one who could time travel, is our best friend.
Okay, so as a person who has a hard time telling if someone being mean to me is them flirting or if they don't like me, I have a feeling my arch enemy is actually someone who has a big crush on me instead. Oh. And every time they say something mean, I'm just like, oh man, they love me so much.
They must really like me. Otherwise, why would they say that to me? Remember how they told me I looked frumpy the other day? Gosh, they really like me. Totally. But yeah, that's our cast. That's all their abilities. They'll mention them again if you don't remember them. Warning, the intro for this book is very long. As it should be. So, shall we get started?
Sure.
There's been a murder. You're falling fast. The night sky and the stone turrets of the old Willow boarding school for gifted children grow farther and farther away as you plummet toward the unforgiving earth. You flip over midair and your view is replaced with rapidly approaching grounds, specifically the hedge maze. Its spiked iron fence will not make for a pleasant landing. It's not going to be pretty. You have no idea how you got here. No matter. Sharp metal approaches. In your mind, you can see it tearing flesh and cracking bone in the most horrific fashion. It's mere feet away, inevitable when you awaken. You sputter and cough, sit up to catch your breath, and work to slow your racing heart. This reality is nearly as curious as your dream. You're not in bed as you should be, but instead are on the floor of the main library. Books line the walls as far as your sight can see. It's completely dark, save for the moonlight seeping in through the windows and the flicker of the candle sconces flanking the fireplace. Their glow casts grotesque shadows over the already creepy portrait of the school's founder. His quoted words, "Each child is a treasure trove of magic. Some treasures need only be tamed," are etched into the ornate gold frame. The antique grandfather clock strikes 1 a.m., The mystery of how in the world you ended up here comes second to the dread of getting caught by the headmistress or her sniveling assistant for being out of the dorms after lights out. You quickly sneak straight up to your room, climb into bed fully dressed, and fall back to sleep. Ugh. Loud clanging tears you from dreamless rest. It's the final breakfast bell, and you can tell by the aggressive ringing that Cook Bonnie is impatient this morning. Luckily for you, you slept in your uniform. You jump out of bed and rush after the throng of students piling downstairs. You spot Lucy not far ahead. You know it's her by the clumps of paper clips stuck to the backs of her legs and tangled in her hair. Sailor and Jack have been up to no good again. At least this time it was only paper clips, not forks. "Lucy," you call ahead. "Wait up." She either doesn't hear you or is miffed about the paper clips and isn't in the mood to be social. You get it, having been on the receiving end of Sailor and Jack's pranks yourself. The last attempt had you tied to your reading chair with a red rope. You've fallen asleep studying, and being the most savage friends ever, they tied you to the chair. They even used red rope just to torture you into trying to use your shoddy telekinesis. Luckily, Elwyn came to find you when you didn't show up for first class. You're with the last group to arrive to breakfast. When you glance at the clock, you realize there's only 10 minutes left to scarf down what is sure to be an unremarkable meal of now cold oatmeal. You slide into your chair and spot Elwyn across from you. When he looks up, you wave, but he doesn't wave back or say a word. Strange. Oh no, did Sailor and Jack frame you for a prank on your best friend? It wouldn't be the first time. Those two are hilariously evil. You lean forward to question him, but before you get a word out, Sal blurts, "We have biology test today." They drop their spoons, and their complexions go pale. "I forgot to study." "It's not till second hour," Jack cuts in. "You'll be fine. Just study during English." He continues drowning his oatmeal in maple syrup. "I can't! I've got a special session with the heights specialist in an hour." Sal buries their head in their hands. Everyone at Old Willow has the same academic class requirements, but each student also possesses a special ability, a treasure trove of magic to be tamed. The taming happens during special sessions with experts. "Study while you're bouncing up on the turret?" Sailor suggests. Sharing a laugh with Jack, you lean in close to Sal. You'll be fine. It's an easy unit. Photosynthesis. You've got... A blood-curdling scream erupts from somewhere in the old mansion. Everyone freezes. There are looks of confusion and horror. But when another scream sounds, you and your fellow students jump up from the table and run toward the wailing. The sound grows louder and louder until you reach the main library, where a group of students surround something or someone. In the chaos, you had fallen behind in the crowd, but now you were able to push your way forward to the front. It is there that you stumble upon a strange scene. The headmistress is huddled on her knees on the library floor. Her hands cover her mouth, and for a moment she is silent. Before her lies a student, still, lifeless. It's a dead body. Your dead body. So, this is where our first decision happens. So you can either run away from the scene to gather your thoughts, in which case we would turn to the next page, or if you run back to your body and try to shake yourself awake, because this must be another nightmare, turn to page 14.
This has to be a nightmare, so I'm gonna shake myself a little bit.
Okay, page 14... You don't have a very good view from where you stand. All you can see is the black sleeve of your uniform sweater and the corner of your skirt. It doesn't matter because it's not you. It can't be you. It's definitely you, your conscious, otherwise known as the annoying know-it-all in your head chimes in. You walk up right behind Jack and Sal. Hey, you say. They don't turn around. Forget them. You head toward Lucy and Sailor, who are standing with a few younger students. Hello? You say, louder this time, but none of them so much as glances your way. This isn't funny, you shout at the room. Stop ignoring me! Still, nothing. It's like you're not there. You're not really anyway, not as you once were. Shut up! You shout at the pest in your head. You try a door, but when you go to turn the knob, you're unable to grip it with your hand. You're unable to grip it as your hand repeatedly passes through it. You turn to face the room and march straight toward the line of students blocking you from the body on the floor. You make to push your way through so you can get a good look at yourself. Instead, you walk through them. It's like traveling through thick, sticky cobwebs and lingers longer than you'd like. A shiver jolts down your spine. Once you glance back, no one's noticed. But the fact that you just walked through several of your friends and fellow students, and the fact that no one seems to hear you, doesn't bode well for who the lifeless body is that looks a lot like you lying at your feet. You kneel, reaching your arms out, and you notice your skin isn't fully solid. It's opalescent, with a low glow to it. Mother of Frankenstein. You have to ignore it. With a tentative, fearful touch, you go to shake her shoulder. Your fingers pass through the other you. You try again and again. Each time, your hands go through as if there's nothing there. And each time you get a little more terrified. Wake up! You try again. Both hands attempting to grip the sides of your other self's face. But you're too forceful this time and lose your balance. Falling forward, you tumble over against the floor. Onto your stomach. When you glance up, something catches the light from under a chair. You move to look closer. It's a dagger. There's blood on it. Instinctively, you look at your body, and then reach to feel the back of your own head. What you feel is pretty normal, but laced with static. You don't feel an injury. And you're not able to make one out on the dead you on the floor, because that's it, isn't it? You're definitely dead. Which makes you a ghost? But how? When? Quickly you recount the events of the day before, but nothing you did leads you to you lying lifeless on the library floor. The problem is your memories stop after dinner, when Constance, your mortal enemy, was oddly sitting across from you. After that, it's all blackness. Now here you are. You make your way to the mirror above the mantel. What does the ghost version of Pearl Margaret Maribel look like? It takes a moment to work up the courage to look into the mirror, and when you do, nothing is as you expected. You assumed you would be a transparent, glowing version of yourself, staring back, but all you see is the reflection of the library behind you, and Constance, who stares right back at you. A fraction of a second later, after your eyes meet, hers quickly veer away. But she seemed to see you, and the way she tried to avoid your gaze suggests she knows something. The question is, will she spill what she knows if you find a way to confront her? It might be worth a try. Keep your enemies closer and all. You have 2 ghost epiphanies. Constance can probably see you, maybe only in mirrors. And ghosts don't have reflections. It's not much.
I call bullshit.
It's not much, but it's something helpful as you figure out this new life or death of yours. It also spurs all new questions. Does your gift of telekinesis still work? Could you use it to get that bloody knife out from under the chair? If you try to confront your arch nemesis Constance, turn to page 32. If you try to use telekinesis to move the dagger out from under the chair, turn to page 37.
Okay. First off, ghosts have to have reflections because how are they able to do those really scary jump scares when the protagonist looks into the mirror and they see your face superimposed on top of theirs?
Oh
like,
my gosh,
flashing?
you're
How are they
so
supposed
right.
to do that? Huh?
Answer me, Jessika Fleck.
But okay, so what is the arch enemy's power again?
She can speak to inanimate objects.
Oh, and because you're an object, that doesn't deserve a life, obviously. She can see you. Yeah. No. Well, I mean, I guess that is a theory that she can see you while you're while you're at an object? I don't know. Actually, no, that doesn't make sense. Unless you're possessing it.
Yeah.
But, well, whatever. What was the options again?
So we can confront Constance, or we can use our telekinesis to move the dagger out from under the chair.
I mean, if we're interacting with objects, then we're poltergeists, so.
Ooh.
You have to upgrade.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get the dagger, as you say it.
The dagger? The dagger? Is that better?
Yeah.
The dagger?
Yeah, it is. It is.
The dagger? You know what's funny? I only learned how to say that A sound because of a joke. A really dumb one where I mispronounced the word bagel as bagel. That's the only way I learned how to do it. Stupid. Dumb.
So I still find it, because, like, for the most part, like, I feel like your accent's pretty neutral, but, like, you say something like agony.
It's like, it's so dumb, because that's a Midwestern thing.
Yeah, like, you have such a neutral accent, and then A's and G's come up, and then all of a sudden you're just like, oh, yeah, I'm
oh, yeah, sure.
I'm gonna make you a salad, but it's actually just Jello and Cool Whip with some marshmallows in it.
Waldorf salad is so gross. I've never had it, by the way.
I've had it like a couple of times. I mean, it tastes like other Mormon desserts. By the way, if you want to know if there's a religion horny for sugar, it's Mormons.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because they can't have anything else.
Yeah, and like the
their only vice
is
sugar. They can't have caffeine. They can't smoke.
Yeah, but I don't mind it necessarily. Like, it's whatever. It's just a bunch of like mushy stuff that's sweet.
Yeah,
whatever.
It's kind of like
don't put fucking walnuts or pistachios in it. Come on. Okay. Like, don't get my nice mushy food in with.
Right?
Yeah.
You know those like the deli parfait, which is just like it's just Jello and is it whipped cream? Anyways, like anytime we have that at a barbecue and like a crumb of something else touches it, I'm like, no.
Yeah.
No.
Well, maybe it's just me, but I also just really don't like it when you put like unnecessary nuts and stuff.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I just don't like it. I don't mind peanuts necessarily, but it needs to be in something that's supposed to be crunchy. Don't put in my smushy stuff.
Right. Dave.
Come on.
Okay. Let's try
I'm just upset. I'm just upset now.
You were already upset about the mouse. Now Waldorf salad.
God, okay. No, I'm just really upset at this, like the Midwest as a concept, because it's just a bunch of mushy stuff.
It really is.
And a bunch of crunchy stuff, and that's it.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much what most casseroles are.
Yeah.
Which is a Midwestern thing. Hot dish. I'm glad we never got that from our Midwestern family. Okay, let's see if we can grab this dagger. Or move it with our mind, I should say. Let's see if I've still got it. Your gift, and the reason you were sent to the Old Willow boarding school for gifted children, is telekinesis. Well, unpredictable telekinesis. The problem was you could control only red objects with your mind. Even worse, you weren't very good at it.
Oh, that sucks.
That's too real. You were constantly breaking red items by accident at home and moving things at school, where you were deemed a distraction to other students. The final straw was when, while traveling in the car with your father, you accidentally forced a red bicycle into the middle of the road. Your car hit it, but luckily no one was riding it. That was it. Your mother heard from a friend who talked to a teacher who had seen an obscure ad in a tiny newspaper about the mostly hidden, very quiet, forest-surrounded, quite expensive, and even more exclusive school at the uppermost edge of Lake Willow. After countless interviews, tests, and letters of recommendations, you were accepted. And here you are, a ghost. You lie on your stomach as you scoot close as you can to the dagger, while also avoiding your dead body, because it's just weird. There isn't a lot of blood showing, the way the knife is angled, but you've accidentally moved smaller red objects before, so it's worth a try. You concentrate on the red stain. You envision it moving, sliding along the floor, until it's in plain sight. Nothing happens. Come on, Pearl, come on. Move the dagger. Move the dagger. Move the dagger. It wobbles, then stops. You keep at it and do manage to make the corner of the dark red blanket thrown over the chair shift, but that's it. Fine. You get up and look around the room. If I can't get the knife to move, I'll move something else in here. Get someone's attention. There's got to be something bright red in the room, something you can really make move or shake to get someone's attention. There's a meow at your feet. Benedict, the insufferable cat's collar is red. Perhaps... No. I'm not desperate enough to fling a cat across the room, you say. Benedict swipes his sharp claws at your foot. Yet. Then you spot it. The perfect object. The red glass lamp on the mantel will do just perfectly. You move toward the closest chair so you can sit and really concentrate. Where you sit, your dead body is in sight. You figure you'll practice moving the dagger a bit more before you really go for it with the lamp. But when you lean forward and get a good view of the knife, it's gone. You need to alert somebody. The lamp needs to fly off that mantel. You move until you're about a foot away from the lamp. Too far or too close, you'll lose focus. You concentrate on the lamp. It's bright cherry red, and the glass is not quite translucent. You imagine it sliding with ease to the right and off the edge of the mantel. As you concentrate, the dim light of the lamp flickers. The lamp's symmetric twin on the other side of the mantel also flickers, as does the nearest chandelier. It seems that the energy you're pushing outward is affecting more than just the lamp, which now shakes and teeters. Come on, come on! With the final surge of emotion, you manage to push the lamp over the edge of the mantel. It shatters spectacularly. The room collectively gasps and looks toward the fireplace. Yes, you shout, but your triumph is short-lived. The red glass shattering triggers a memory. Yesterday, you accidentally broke a similarly red object by pushing it off a shelf with your mind. But that object was not an insignificant lamp. It was an urn. The founder of the Old Willow boarding school for gifted children's urn, to be exact. The bright red had caught your eye, and before you could stop, the urn had moved off the side of the shelf and shattered on the floor, ashes and all. The head mistress was livid, but the memory fades to black there. You observe the room. Constance appears uneasy and refuses to look directly at the mess you just made. Elwyn's eyes dart from corner to corner, as if he's trying to spot something he can't see. Low chatter erupts. As you're trying to find something else to shatter, the headmistress shouts, "Everyone, to your rooms, now!" You want to stay close to Elwyn, get through to him, but he takes off fast. You follow, but just as you reach the door, you stop dead. It feels unnatural to leave your body behind. If you follow Elwyn, turn to page 96. If you stay with your body, turn to page 100.
Okay, so two things.
Uh-huh.
Do you remember the show called Joan of Arcadia?
Yes.
Where, that one woman that works at Niagara Falls gift shop that could talk to inanimate objects, and they have their own little lives, and she looks crazy all over the place?
Yes.
Yeah, that reminds me of, what's her name? I don't know.
Constance.
Constance, the person who really wants to be your girlfriend, but doesn't know how to express herself. Sorry. No, I saw a TikTok. And it was this woman was just like, I really need people to stop being into people being mean to them, because I'll be mean to someone, and then they'll be kicking up their hands and legs, be like, "Really, you like me?" It's like, no, I don't like you. Stop it. It's like, oh, you really love me, don't you? But yeah, but I don't know. Let's follow. I don't know. I feel like, okay. So there's a thing that you should do if you're lost. Stay where you're at. Try to stay where you're at if you're safe.
Okay.
So, and I feel like right now we're lost between life and death. So maybe we should stay with the body.
Okay.
Maybe. Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. So, students to your dorms now, the headmistress announces. Everyone, adults included, seem pretty creeped out, and they all scatter and leave. You're alone. Well, sort of. With a deep breath, you approach your body. Staring down at yourself is strange and dizzying. But you push your discomfort aside and search the area that surrounds the other you. You look under the chair again, on the table, in the nearby bookshelves, but nothing is out of place. Nothing stands out. You return to your body and try to roll yourself over to get a better look at where you believe the dagger was used to knock you over the head. But just as you're fighting to lift your head up off the floor, the headmistress's assistant, Mr. Fitzherbert, bursts through the door, pushing a rickety metal rolling table. The man walks with a hunch, wears a black suit, and has long, graying, stringy hair. He certainly looks the part of Undertaker. Following close behind is a surprisingly composed headmistress. Her hair is fixed, smoothed back to her usual tight bun, and she's changed out of the yellow top she had on to a red floral one. She watches as Mr. Fitzherbert lifts your body and sets you on the table. Benedict curls himself around her feet as she lifts him like a large furry baby into her arms. Do you hear that, Meester? You were just a large furry baby. He mews and side-eyes you. You know what to do, Fitzherbert, she says gravely, motioning for him to leave. He doesn't hesitate, and strapping your body to the table, nor does he mention the police or a doctor. You quickly hop on the table along with yourself. Mr. Fitzherbert rolls your body through a long tunnel you've never seen before that leads to the old damp basement. Once at the bottom of the tunnel, you were rolled through a door. Above it, carved in stone, reads, Hic sunt infelices. Here rests the unfortunate, you translate. Everyone at Old Willow takes Latin. Mr. Fitzherbert releases your body from the table and places it inside a stone tomb. He leaves and the door slams and locks with finality. You take a small tour of the tomb and realize it is filled with other students, those who have somehow met your same fate. Slowly, some other ghosts come out of hiding. You're trapped for eternity, but at least you're not alone. The end.
Okay, but they're is it anti-ghost walls?
It sounds like it.
Okay. Okay. I guess we do the other one.
Yeah, so the other option is to follow Elwyn.
Yeah, let's follow Elwyn.
Elwyn bolts out the door, but quick thinking, action, and the fact that you're already not too far behind him keeps you close on his heels. You don't even get to celebrate, finally escaping the library. You're so focused on catching up with him. As you speedwalk to keep up, you also use any emotion and energy you can muster to make contact with things. You toss, push, shove, and kick anything and everything in your path until Elwyn is so freaked out he breaks into a run. Running after him, you two feel bad. You're torturing your bereaved best friend. "I'm sorry, Elwyn, but it's for the greater good," you shout, giving him a couple of sharp pokes. Sorry, this is so funny. Nothing seems to be getting through his thick skull, except that he's really creeped out. He doesn't seem to have any idea it's you or could be you. What he thinks is, you have no idea. Probably some students' untapped gifts. It's happened before. Messing with these things without their full extent can be dangerous. When Elwyn finally gets to his room, he flies through the door and slams it shut. You manage to squeeze in just in time. He locks the door for good measure. So
Are all the walls ghost-proof?
Yeah, it sounds like
you're
he can't.
a ghost.
Yeah, or at least she doesn't know how to yet to go through the walls, if she can.
I feel like if I was a ghost, it's one of the first things I do. Right? Unless this world doesn't have ghosts, and then no ghost media,
I mean,
which would be weird.
There are people with supernatural powers in this universe, so who knows?
Well, so I feel like if I was a ghost, if I died, and I was still cursed to be on this earth still, one of the first things I would do would be try to go through walls. Because I watch ghost media.
Yeah.
Unless it's like The Walking Dead or something where there's no zombie media, they just never thought of zombies.
Or Midnight Mass, where apparently they don't know what vampires are.
Yeah, because
I like the alternative in Midnight Mass is just that they're all very Catholic.
whenever people just those people in that church, they're drinking blood. It's it's called communion.
That's called Catholicism.
Yeah, the blood cult, Catholicism. They also do symbolic cannibalism.
Yeah,
too.
There's a saint who was skinned. There's another saint who carries around her eyeballs on a plate.
And one of the saints is definitely a werewolf, and people will lie and say he's not a werewolf, but he definitely was. So it's definitely not a mistranslation. Shut up.
Shut up. Fuck. Alright. He locks the door for good measure. Little does he know that what he's hiding from is standing right next to him. Time to change tactics. You begin searching his room for something that will, without a doubt, alert him it's you. Pearl, his best friend, who is messing with him. You refuse to give up until you try one more thing. But it's got to be good. You remember something. Elwyn keeps a stuffed toy lizard under his bed. He sleeps with. He's had it a long time, as long as he can remember. And on nights he has trouble sleeping, he digs it out. He's claimed only you know about it, and you believe him. You force yourself to crawl under the bed. When you see the lizard, you work on gripping it as tight as you can. Then, using your last energy reserves, you yank the toy out and fling it into the middle of the room. Pearl? Elwyn speaks in a near whisper. He's staring wide-eyed at the toy. Finally, you say through a yawn, crawling next to where the lizard landed. All sad, legs splayed. You pick one leg up, hoping Elwyn will understand it means yes. He gasps, but seems to understand because he asks you another question. Did you die? Right leg for yes. Elwyn sort of falls into bed. Do you know what happened? Left leg for no. Okay. Now he stands and begins pacing. So are you a ghost? First you lift...
Ghost?
Ghost? First you lift the right leg because you're pretty sure that's what you are. But then you also lift the left leg because who really knows? As Elwyn tries to come up with another question, your eyes grow heavy. Moving the lizard has taken all your energy, and you must sleep. Pearl? Come on, Pearl, snap out of it. You stand up, start pacing the room. This is not the time to nap. You have a murder to solve. Now that Elwyn knows you're here, you can use his non-ghost advantages to help solve your murder. And as a non-ghost, he can search bedrooms much more efficiently than you. And you make a great layout. Oh, and you make a great lookout. But maybe you shouldn't rush into this. You and Elwyn still need to figure out how to communicate with one another. If you have Elwyn search students' bedrooms, turn to page 152. If you and Elwyn practice communicating, turn to page 158.
Okay, we need to figure out how to communicate. Okay. I feel like
I think that's
the first thing.
That's a good plan as well.
Also, I liked your mess up and be like, you'd be a great lay. I'm just like, I don't know. A lot of people apparently have such a ghost.
You're children in this book. That is wrong.
I know. That's why I didn't say it like immediately in the thing.
Oh, sick. I'm getting old. My joints are getting stiff. Let me make sure I turned to the right page. Yeah, I sure did. You and Elwyn have discovered the best way to communicate by tapping on a nearby surface. 1 knock for no, 2 knocks for yes, 3 for I don't know. Elwyn sometimes gets ahead of himself and forgets he has to ask yes or no questions, but you started giving 4 knocks for that, which means you need to relocate to his word game for more options. Any ideas what we do next? 2 knocks. Then 4 knocks. This is where it gets tricky, and where you move things to the word game by his desk. When you do, it is decided you need to search for your body. What better evidence is there than a body? You and Elwyn search everywhere you can think of. The dungeony cellar, the cemetery greenhouse that's connected to the school, and every nook and cranny inside the many rooms of the old manor. You want to search the grounds, but every time you get close to a door or a window, something in your gut tells you not to go outside. Elwyn, of course, isn't aware of the intense anxiety and dread consuming your body. As he opens the door to the gardens a crack, you stop and knock on the wall as loudly and quickly as you can. Pearl? He pulls his hand away from the knob. You okay? 1 knock for no. What's wrong? How in the world can you explain that no real specific reason you don't want to leave the house? Glancing around the hallway, you try to find something that might help you explain. You notice the door is still open a crack. As quickly as you can, you slam it shut. Whoa, Elwyn shouts. Okay, you don't want us to go outside? 2 knocks for yes. Then 1 knock for no. He can still go outside. You just don't want to. With a few more questions and knocks, Elwyn gets the message and goes outside to search. But the grounds being so vast, and some parts quite forested, he comes back with nothing. You're about to give up when you decide to search the library one last time. Not necessarily for your body, because where in the world would they put it? But for more clues. Something that possibly went unnoticed. To let Elwyn know, you sort of push him in that direction. It's not his favorite thing, but he's being a good sport about it. As you pass through the library, you notice something new on the mantel. A deep red urn. You're able to make it shake slightly to alert Elwyn to check it out. But when you do, a flood of memories comes back barreling to you. You broke the Red Founder's urn and spilled his ashes. Your punishment was to organize paperwork in the headmistress's office. You snooped in a drawer, and when you saw that the headmistress was experimenting on students, you were caught, and the headmistress silenced you. Forever. There's ashes, Elwyn says, unaware of the flash of images you just received. I think they're... But before he can finish, you hook your arm around his and give him a good series of pinches, hoping it spurs him to time travel. It works. You're squished and squeezed through time and space and end up at the school a good couple of weeks before your death. You and Elwyn are careful not to run into your other selves as you make your way up to Elwyn's room, so you can explain everything using the word game. Turn to page 1. Oh, there we go. You give Elwyn the quick rundown using wild abbreviations, and thankfully he knows you well enough to understand. You then have Elwyn write notes to both of your other selves, explaining the full situation. The two of you hide until you see yourselves read the note. Then you time travel again, and Elwyn does it. He travels intentionally and back to the time when you came from. Except instead of his bedroom, you end up in yours. Pearl? Elwyn says as you're still regaining your balance, figuring out where you are. Yeah? Pearl! What? You stare up at him, annoyed. He's standing in front of your mirror, so in the reflection you see the back of his head, and your face. Your face. It worked! You run and jump at him, scooping him up into an enormous hug. Thank you! Oh my gosh, thank you! He shrugs. It was nothing. And you both laugh to tears. Your other selves are able to go to the police. The headmistress and Mr. Fitzherbert are arrested for their experiments. Miss Loveland becomes the headmistress, and you're alive. Alive! The end.
I mean, that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
that was real quick. I mean, I guess we solved the mystery.
You did it! The headmistress fucking killed you.
So I guess the lesson of the story is, mind your fucking business.
Yeah.
Just mind your own business.
Mind your own fucking business.
Unless you're getting it third hand from, like, someone who was really interested in it on, like, TikTok or something.
Yeah.
Now that's fine. Because you're technically fourth hand at that point. But, like, you know, mind your business if you're in the office of the person, you know? At the same time, you could stoop. I don't know. I think I'm a hypocrite. But, I mean, I definitely want to do more of this book.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Maybe we should...
So, if we choose instead to search the other students' bedrooms, we need to turn to page 152. All right. With Elwyn's help, you take turns figuring out when Constance, Lucy, and Sawyer are out of their dorm rooms for decent amounts of time. Then you snoop. But unfortunately, you don't find much of consequence. The only oddities that you find in each of their rooms are passes to see the headmistress for treatments. When Elwyn shows you the passes, several memories about the day of your death come flooding back. The problem is they're jumbled and mixed up and blurry. You can't make sense of them. Elwyn corners each of her friends and tries to be inconspicuous about getting information. Emphasis on tries. With Constance, he attempts to casually ask about meeting with the headmistress. Have you ever had to meet with her at all? By yourself? She gives me the creeps sometimes. To which Constance simply answers, no. He tries to tell Sawyer, who has also gotten a pass for treatments, hoping Sawyer will confide in him. But Sawyer only gives Elwyn a strange look and pretends he has no idea what he's talking about. Really, his only hope is Lucy, but even that he messes up. Lucy, do you have any acne treatment I can borrow? No, she says confused. What about foot fungus treatment? Gross. She shakes her head no. Dandruff treatment? Elwyn, you need to see the nurse. Damn. Elwyn is getting more and more paranoid and is slipping up big time. You worry he's going to shift the target of the killer onto himself if he keeps acting so strangely. But when you try to delicately broach the subject, it only makes things worse. So much so that he's thinking about making a school-wide announcement, explaining that he's been speaking with your ghost, and the two of you have a list of suspects. You feel confident that this will backfire spectacularly. You're not sure the best way to handle it, but the answer is probably right under your nose. You need to do more sleuthing. To buy yourselves more time to sleuth and gather clues, you and Elwyn decide on a prank. Something that will get most of the students and teachers out of the school. That way, you'll have free reign of the place. And who better to pull a prank than the best prankster at Old Willow, Jack and Sailor. This first requires a lecture from Elwyn about how ghosts are real, and how you are one. Jack and Sailor don't seem to take him seriously, until you channel your frustration into throwing a blackberry Danish at Jack's face. After that, Jack and Sailor dutifully listen to everything Elwyn has to say. You, Elwyn, Sailor, and Jack sit in a circle on the floor of a really used second-floor solarium. I'm thinking explosions, breaking glass, setting the bats for Miss Smythe's zoology class free, Jack says, pushing his thick-rimmed glasses back up his nose, and bugs. So many bugs. It's the only time Sailor's face ever lights up with pure joy. Because that's Sailor's power, is controlling bugs. Elwyn nods. We'll leave the prank up to you two. You're the experts. We just need as many people as possible to get out of the school so Pearl and I can look around without being caught. No problem, Sailor says, twirling a tarantula-sized spider between her thumb and finger. Jack shudders. Do you have to do that here? Sailor gives him a look that leaves no doubt about her answer. Okay. Jack puts his arms up in surrender and then looks at Elwyn. Just leave it to us. Thank you so much, you say, and then you realize they can't hear you. Instead, you give both Jack and Sailor a gentle poke. They both jump and gasp. Sorry, Elwyn says. I should have warned you. Pearl says thank you. The two pranksters giggle nervously, and you make a mental note to get them back at some point. After giving Sailor and Jack time to prepare, you and Elwyn hide on the 3rd floor in the empty music room. You know immediately once things start happening. Fireworks, smoke, glass shattering, bats, all of the things Jack promised. Students scream. Adults call for calm and quiet and follow the fire escape routes, but the noise isn't quieting down. No one is leaving. Then the bugs start up. Beetles, roaches, spiders, ladybugs, praying mantises, moths. If it exists in bug form, it's crawling around the school. Something's wrong, Elwyn shouts through the noise and smoke. You give him a poke in agreement. Should we go check? Poke. The two of you follow the sounds of pure chaos to the grand hall. There you find students and teachers huddled in corners under their tables. Some try to pry the door open. It's locked or stuck. You and Elwyn go back to the back doors. The scene is the same. You check the side doors. They're locked too. You collect the rest of your friends, and you, Elwyn, Sailor, Jack, Sal, Lucy, and Sawyer split up into groups and check every window and door in the humongous mansion. They're all sealed shut. Someone has locked you all in amid a bug and bat infestation. Fireworks continue to detonate because Jack set them up on timers. Gunpowder smoke fills up the school. The bugs are crawling on students. The bats are eating the bugs. Not only are you a ghost, but you're also now a prisoner surrounded by pandemonium. It's like the end of the world. The end.
Well, I guess that's what we get for snooping.
Going through other people's things. Rude.
Yeah, we figured out that, like, you snooping was the reason why you got killed, and, you know, we snooped in this other timeline, and I guess you're not dead, because you're already dead. I mean, you're not second dead.
You're not double dead.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
But you'll have a bunch of new ghost friends, though.
Yeah! I mean, if you guys die, it sounds like it's maybe not stuff that'll kill you all. Maybe.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like those two pranksters are I feel like they're going to be a serial killer one day, and this is going to be their practice.
Everybody gets rabies from the bats.
I was going to make a joke about, like, the bat ate the flies, and then what eats bats?
Oh gosh,
What's an animal that eats bats?
That's a good question.
They're not apex predators. I know that.
No, they are not.
So, like, something has to eat them, right?
Now I have to look this up. What eats bats?
Do raccoons eat bats? I know they eat woodpeckers sometimes.
Cats, owls, falcons, hawks, snakes, crocodiles, people.
Wait, crocodiles? What? I mean, okay, no, I understand. I understand how. I understand how they eat. Okay, let me segment that sentence I was about to say. I know how a crocodile eats. They use its mouth, their digestive system. But how do they get bats?
Yeah. Maybe they just open their...
Alligators are notoriously low to the ground.
They just open their mouth, so if a bat falls out of the sky, it just falls in.
What if it happened like, it's like how orcas eat moose, and like they're like one of the only natural predators of moose.
Yeah, but it's like only in specific circumstances.
It's only in the Pacific Northwest, specifically.
Yeah. It doesn't happen super often, but it happens enough.
Yeah, it happens enough that you could say that they're natural predators. It's just like how sometimes crocodiles eat lions because they get close.
If they can get their mouth on them, they'll eat them.
Also, you know what's a predator of birds sitting on little wires?
What?
Close to deer?
What?
Deer. Because deer also eat little birds. It's fucked up. I saw a video of it. It's fucked up.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I also, read somewhere that I think bats can't take off, they can't take off horizontally, so they can't take off the ground. They have
they're VTOLs.
They have to get up somewhere, and then they have to jump off and fly. They cannot just take off from the ground, like a bird would.
Wait, they're not VTOLs. They're hang gliders.
Yeah.
Huh.
They can only take off vertically. So if you find a bat on the ground, put it in a tree. That way you can take off. But, also wear gloves because you don't want rabies. Even though that's very rare.
but also make sure you open mouth kiss them so you show that you appreciate them. So you do get...
If you're an opossum, you can open mouth kiss the bat. Because your body temperature will guarantee you cannot get rabies.
But also you appreciate them and you want to show that someone loves them, and the only way to do that is to open mouth kiss them while you're wearing the gloves so you don't get rabies. Yeah. Obviously.
Yeah, open mouth kiss. Because as we all know, rabies is spread through saliva, but not if you're kissing.
No.
It's not like mono.
Yeah, they don't call rabies the kissing disease. So,
yeah, that's mono. So funny. That's so stupid. But yes, alligators eat bats. Yes, there are a lot of predators. I was gonna say owls, but I wasn't sure.
Well, okay, so... Okay, to finish this metaphor that we got on two different tangents in, so they would have to, so the bats would be brought in to eat the bugs, and then you have to bring in crocodiles to eat the bats, and then you'd have to bring in hippos? Do hippos eat meat?
Yeah. Well, they can murder.
Yeah, but that's not eating.
This is
are hippos herbivores?
This is they are, yeah.
Okay, then they don't eat. I guess you bring in hippos to kill the alligators, and then you bring in a bunch of ranchers who want to make a bigger meat source for Americans, and then they just die.
Right.
And then I guess they just die.
So stupid.
Okay. Let's think of this logically. Now, logically does not mean right. It just means A plus A equals A and B equals B. Okay. So we have something big that can be killed for meat. Okay.
Yeah.
Hippos. Okay.
Yeah.
We already have other big things that we kill for meat in America.
Yeah.
So logically, if you could raise the hippos in the U.S., you have more meat.
They're not docile at all, though.
Biologically, no.
No.
It doesn't work. But logically, it does work. If you do the math.
On the most basic level, yes.
Yes, and that's why I said logic does not mean it's right. It just means it makes sense. If you talk it out.
God. This is like that bit in The Simpsons where they have like a rat or weasel problem. So they're like, we're gonna introduce snakes to get rid of all them. And then Lisa's like, well, then what do we do about the snakes? And the mayor's like, oh, we'll introduce snake-eating gorillas. Which sounds fucking horrifying. And she's like, what about the gorillas? And he's like, oh, they'll die during winter.
No, what you do, okay, so you have a weasel problem. So you get some snakes to eat the weasels, and then the snakes get taken out by mongoose.
Also, I think a member of the mustoid family.
Yeah. So, how do you get rid of the mongoose? I don't know. I think you get bigger snakes. I was gonna say you introduce king cobras. Yeah. You introduce cobras. And to get rid of them, you get bigger mongoose.
A wolverine is basically a big mongoose.
Yeah, and how do you get rid of wolverines? Send it to Japan. I think they're all weebs.
There you go. Problem solved.
They also they love being a surrogate father.
Yes.
So.
Fuck. I just love snake-eating gorillas from The Symptoms.
So.
What the fuck? Anyways.
But yeah, let's end this episode.
Yeah,
We've gone off the trail.
Yeah.
Oh no, wait, we are going to be doing a second episode of this.
Yes. Yeah, we'll do a second episode of this because it's a fun book and there's many more endings to come. I don't want to do plugs because we just spent so long talking about things. Yeah, this has been Turn to Your Doom. And remember, inside you is magic. Sometimes that magic is just your ability to produce lots of mucus. Okay, bye!
Bye!